I got these triggers turned off, so you shouldn't have a problem here. Where are we at here? Hang on. All right, Bud, you ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
Mm-hmm. All right. Guys, I'm going to pop these up. Mics are going to go on in 2, 1, you're on.
Good morning and welcome to Recovery Talk, Hope and Help for the Hurting here in the High Country. Sorry, I've been gone for 2 weeks. I was out of town. I had a wonderful opportunity to go to a conference in northern Kentucky. We were right there near Cincinnati. It was called the Addictions Connection. It was a group of people that are in the similar field as myself, and it was a very exciting time. But I really missed the show. And last week we had a snow event. I don't know if anybody here was part of that, but there's still snow piled up in that parking lot outside here. Anyway, glad to be back with everybody. Like I said, very much missed you, but man, did I come back from this conference refreshed. If there's anything to say about people that work in the area of recovery, I get it all the time. People are always coming to me and saying, "Brother, I don't know how you continue to do what you do and not get discouraged." And I'm not Superman. I'm not a martyr in any kind of way. I do believe that you have to be kind of called to do, not kind of, you have to be called to do this type of work. But, man, does it help to get around a whole bunch of people that are on the front lines like you from all around the country, and just to be poured into by them and you pour into them. And it was just a wonderful time. Anyway, again, back in the saddle again. Just want to give out a quick shout out to our official show sponsor, which is Freedom Auto Tech. Freedom Auto Tech is a garage here in town, but it's a special garage because this garage exists solely for the purpose of profits going into recovery, men's recovery, through the ministry of Freedom Farm Ministries. If you don't know much about Freedom Farm, I've been talking about it on here for a little while, but it's a 1-year men's recovery program. It's a Christian recovery program. So we have to always constantly be raising support. We are a faith-based ministry, which means we don't typically qualify to get a lot of federal funding and things like that, insurance, because we are a religious organization. But you know what? We've been around for 14 years, and we keep doing what we're doing, and we hover around 30 men at a time in a 1-year program, and we really just enjoy doing what we're doing and want to keep doing. Hey, if you're listening right now, or if you listen later on the Facebook, watch the show. If you're looking for some end of the year giving, Freedom Farm's had a tough December. Because of the snow event, we had firewood suppliers have not been able to deliver us. We raise funds through selling firewood, so we've been kind of cut out of the loop. We just finally got some wood yesterday. So, but anyway, we've missed some weeks of steady income. And if you're looking for a good place, it's a not-for-profit organization. It's a 501c3, so your donations are tax deductible. Look them up, freedomfarmministries.org, and there's a donate button, real easy to do electronically. And we would appreciate any support that you could give. I want to say hi to a couple friends. I got my brother Paul in Georgia, Glenn, my brother from South Florida that was my roommate once. How you doing, brother? And of course, my mom. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we have my brother here, Nick, and Nick has, the other night I was asking for volunteers to come and share the story. Nick is at Freedom Farm now. He's currently in the 3rd phase of the program, which means he's been with us about 4 months? Around 4 months. And he's been through phase 1 and 2, obviously. And I asked Nick to come here and share his story, and he agreed. And so, brother, take it from there. Tell us, who is Nick? What was going on with Nick before I met you?
Well, I'm a recovering addict. Sex addiction took over. I just had a lot of problems in life, and I was at my wit's end. Couldn't have done it without Freedom Farms. I had a lot happen to me, and been a Christian my whole life, but it's much more than that. It's just, I was overwhelmed in addiction.
Yeah.
I had no clue where I was going. I kept turning to God, but I kept feeling this void. I expected Him to just completely transform my life, Him, not me.
Mm.
And I wouldn't give Him my all. But
take us back a little bit. Like, where did you grow up? What kind of family were you in? How did you do with friends and school? And tell us a little bit about that about you.
Well, I had an amazing family. Always took me to church, always was supporting, but I just fell in with the wrong crowds in school, and I just wanted to live a life of edge, what you see on TV. I wanted to be this bad boy who everyone was terrified of. And I created this persona, and I just became this monster. And along being a monster, you gotta do what you do, and it just, a big part of that was getting high, messing around with the wrong people, and having to prove yourself constantly.
Was this in North Carolina?
This was in Florida.
Florida?
Yes.
Where in Florida?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale. Okay, my neck of the woods.
Yes, sir. I had an amazing home, but I had terrible friends I surrounded myself with. And when you surround yourself with terrible people, terrible things happen.
When you say amazing home, I'm always curious. I know the people watching and listening are. Like, when you were getting in trouble being this edgy, guy, how were your parents responding to that? Did they go through, like, phases of trying to get real strict, lots of punishment, and then, tell us about that.
I try to live a double life where
you hit it.
I acted like this sweet, innocent kid, and whenever my parents brought anything up to me, I'd deny it and play the no one was ever there for me, because I was the fourth child out of 5, and my little brother after me was real sick, so I was pretty much got free reign.
Okay.
And
the siblings above you, what kind of lives were they living? Were they pretty decent kids, or?
My sister was daddy's little girl.
Okay.
And my other brother was just a recluse, quiet guy.
Okay.
Never really knew about him. And my oldest brother was a drug addict, and he was living the same kind of lifestyle. I kind of looked up to him in the ways he was doing, and all his friends. I'd always see his friends, and I wanted to be that guy.
Okay.
The guy that everyone knew, saw, no one wanted to mess with, but everyone wanted to party with.
Okay. I identify with that a little bit. When you're going through growing up and trying to make your way and what groups you fit in and stuff, I was always very attracted to those people because it felt like something that I could do. I felt confident that I could do what they're doing. I could live that kind of lifestyle because, and that whole risky, edgy type thing, it was very, very powerful and attractive. And ultimately, I was doing it in order to be accepted. So I don't know if you ultimately identify with that, but I mean, I know that that's what I wanted. But I've described this on the show many times. But my internally, though, I mean, I could be around 20 people that all considered me their friend, and I still never felt like anybody liked me, really. I don't know if you identify with that.
Oh, yeah. Always had to one-up everyone. Always had to be the one to say, yeah, Nick will do that. Nick will do that. Do anything anyone asks me. Still kind of do that. I'm the crazy one in the group.
You're the crazy one. You're not that crazy, but anyway, you're a delightful guy. So how did you do? How far did you make it in school?
I didn't really make it too far in school.
Okay. I dropped out in 10th grade, so I don't know. Did I beat you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And dropped out of ninth, but I never truly made it to ninth. I got kicked out in 8th grade and graduated by doing one summer school.
Okay.
Only a week of summer school, and I only did a week before that of actual school, and they still passed me to 9th grade.
Okay.
So I kind of got kicked up there, and then once I made it to high school, didn't do anything, failed, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm out of here.
Okay. So I was registered in school for all 4 years of high school, but credit-wise, I only made it 10th grade. I just skipped school all the time, and that's where I went. I ended up, my mom that's watching, she signed me up to take the GED test, and praise God she did that, because I would have never done it on my own. And all I did, she was like, look, all I got to do is show up at this day and take this test, and I did, and you know, I'm glad that I was able to get that GED when I was younger. But yeah, I hated school. I've actually talked to a lot of people that didn't really have substance abuse issues. They're just very, very bored of school. Just because sometimes people learn differently, you know, and sometimes we don't fit in the mold of school. And I think that's what really a lot of my problem was, is just school was boring to me. Very, very boring. And it's not that I wasn't able to do it. I just actually did it well. Just very unchallenged. Does that make any sense? So, what happened? 9th grade, you're out of school, running the streets. How are you keeping up an innocent persona with your parents out of school now?
Well, I grew up with nothing. We were a low-income family, and my parents were trying to feed 5 children, and I just turned to getting whatever I wanted. I ran the streets with my people, and we were robbing places, doing pretty much anything we wanted.
So we got a break coming up here, but we're going to come back, and basically 9th grade-ish, you've started a life of crime at this point, so no longer the innocent babe, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, why don't you stick with us, and we will pick up the show right when we get back. All right, buddy, we got a break. So, doing fine.
Not really.
You're doing fine. We're doing
Doing fine, man.
Yeah.
You tell a good story. Do me a favor. When we go into the news, I want you to give me some information. I'll put it on Swap Shop. We'll try and help you.
Okay, great.
Okay? And like I said, now next week, clear with Bill before you leave, because I'm on vacation.
Okay.
If you guys are going to do a show next week, make sure you got an op. And when I come back, I'll do it till they tell me I don't need to do it.
Where are you going on vacation?
I'm going to hang out with the family for a while and rest my brain.
Okay.
You know, guys, you guys do a great job on this show. I think you guys are doing a great service.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I love doing it. So
You know, I mean, the thing is,
we've
like
been
I
doing
said,
it I think close to 9 months now.
and it could be close to 9 years if you guys keep showing up. As I said, I'll help you. I'll engineer the show. I don't know why Mike wanted to do it. I mean, I said, Mike, are you sure? Yeah, I'm fine. And all of a sudden, it was gone. I don't know what he did. He pissed off Robin. No, I can tell you that. Dude, you got to use tact.
Yeah.
You can't have an I mean, it was kind of an attitude of, I don't give a fuck.
No.
Okay? Well then, now think about it. You guys are both there. What does that do for you?
Yeah. Not.
It leads to a lot of trouble.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
You're in Elkin, right?
Yeah, I'm in the Elkin, Jonesville area. I
Okay.
drive an hour up here every day. I've been doing it for, Lord willing, going on 24 years.
I drive about a half an hour.
Now, where are you at exactly?
You pass my road. You know.
I pass your place all the time when I go see a friend of mine in Tennessee.
No. Where I live personally is when you're coming up 421 up the mountain.
Yes, sir.
You know when you right before you get to the Parkway, there's that little thing called House of Prayer right there. On the left.
Yeah.
I live in there.
Holy cow. I went down that road one time because there was a state police detour. I don't know what the hell happened. And I went down there. It was a pretty scenic drive down that way.
Yeah. We.
Pretty area down that way. Is that Watauga County?
It is.
Okay.
I'm right on the edge.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Wilkes
Is right there.
it kind of like goes up the mountain to a slope, and then it's, because I know in Hayes, it goes up into Allegheny County. See, people don't realize that Wilkes is in the mountains.
Yeah.
Parts of it are.
Parts of it are.
Because my wife didn't know that. She's like, how come we get all this stuff? Baby, we're on the brink of the freaking mountains.
Yeah.
We got 17. What'd you get at your house with the storm?
At least 20, yeah.
Yeah, it came down pretty good. The dog loved it, man.
Yeah.
She just jumped like from the third stair into a big pile of snow. Guys,
Yeah,
you
I was
got,
surprised because I went to Greensboro shortly after, and it was all the way down to Greensboro. There was still snow all up, piled up everywhere.
Well, and that's the thing. When it snows like that and it goes region wide like that, it screws everything up because if the snow's held up here, you can at least move down there. You can get around. It's not that bad. But when it's all over, and you got to realize, man, holy cow, those people in Winston, Greensboro, Raleigh's the worst, and so is Charlotte. They can't drive in it. They're right on your ass, and all of a sudden, think, guys, somebody's going to slide. Holy shit. Guys, we are in 18 seconds. Like I said, my man, just let me know.
Okay.
Tell Bill,
I'll talk to
and
Bill.
I got you every week after that, and tell him I'm your man.
Okay.
And if you ever had a podcast it, do it.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll run it for you. Just let us know in advance.
Right.
Here you guys go. Here you guys go. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to Recovery Talk, Hope and Help for the Hurting. Recovery Talk is brought to you by Freedom Auto Tech. Just going to give our sponsor a shout out. 828-355-4434 is their number. That's 828-355-4434. If you have a car problem, you got to get it fixed. Might as well go to a place that is actually exists for a good cause, because all the profits and proceeds go to help men in recovery. So give them a call if you've got a problem with your vehicle, 828-355-4434, and they'll get you fixed right up. So, Nick, we're back to you. You have dropped out of school, high school, and you said you made about 9th grade. They put you in 9th grade, but you're out, and here begins a life of crime. Have your parents caught on to it yet?
They did. Before that, I was in and out of trouble. We actually moved right after I got put on probation down in Florida in middle school. That was my start of middle school, and so we moved to North Carolina. And then from there, I brought with me this person who did not care at all about anything. And from there, I perfected the double life. I went to church every Sunday with my family. I had my church friends, and then I left church, and then I'd be with a group of hoodlums, and I got stabbed at the age of 16. I overdosed inside church at 16, and from there it just started spiraling out of control because I couldn't find who I was. I was trying to find God while I was trying to be myself, be the worst person I could be, just to keep this persona I created.
So, interesting, it kind of like went to a new level of after a transition. So you were in Florida, and I'm sure you, in your mind and in reality, you made a lot of mistakes and whatnot. So new environment, new area, I bet you're like, I know all the wrong things, and so now I'm going to do this really good. You're still holding on to that, you know what, this is the kind of person I want to be known as, this kind of person that I want, this is the image I want, but I know all the mistakes, so now I'm going to do it right, and it probably just backfired on you, huh?
After I got stabbed, I got paranoid about everything. If you looked at me wrong, I thought you were going to hurt me, so no matter where I was, you were looking at me wrong, I'd get real bucky, and I didn't care if you had 10 guys. I pretty much had this death wish.
What happened? How did you get stabbed?
It was just sitting there, me and my boys, we were getting high, and then all of a sudden, someone kicked in the door trying to rob us. I stepped in front of them, stabbed me, and just lost it. And at that point, I became this animal, this non-fearing animal, like I'm invincible.
Yeah, you survive a stabbing, you probably start to think you're a little bit invincible. So this whole time, would you say that you had like a substance of choice that you engaged in, or were you kind of like
cocaine and pills?
Cocaine and pills. Pills. Whoops.
Who?
We're on commercial.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Sorry about that, folks. Pills, what kind of pills? Downers, uppers?
Downers, anything I can pretty much get my hand on. I didn't care what it was, whatever you had for me. You tell me to do something, I'll do it. You just give me a little bit of...
So you're probably working your heart real bad. Cocaine, and then, when you needed to come down, probably down pills. That's what's
falling all the time.
Yeah, killed a lot of famous comedians, that stuff. So anyway, all right, so 16, things have gotten pretty bad. Overdosed in church, been stabbed. What happens next, my friend?
Well, I still tried to play the double lifestyle. I was still going to church.
But your parents must have.
They knew.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to jail, getting caught doing stupid stuff. They'd come bail me out, and I'd always play the same card where you use their love against them and use the Bible against them. I'd be like, well, you have to forgive me. And that wasn't really good, but I became a master manipulator at this point.
Common story with people that struggle with it. You have to be, right? In order to continue to live, you have to be able to manipulate because, it makes no rational sense in this world, the stuff that we do. And in order to keep doing it, we need to pool the resources as best we can. So that takes a lot of manipulation. So you got to knowing the Bible well enough to manipulate your parents with it.
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty low.
That is.
Yeah.
That is, but it's really easy to use forgiveness against Christians, and that's one big thing I've always played with towards keeping my foot in the door at church.
There was you in one of the classes. I don't know if you'll remember this line, but this is from a book, and the author that wrote this is escaping my memory right now, but. I think it's Dan Allender. I think it just popped up. There's a famous author named Dan Allender. He said, forgiveness involves a heart that cancels a debt but does not lend new money until repentance occurs. And you know what? It's taken a long time for me to learn that, okay? So what does that mean? That means that in forgiveness, I don't hold your debt against you anymore. But until I see you living any kind of a life of repentance, or, for those of you guys that don't know, the word repentance means turning, right? So to turn from that behavior, to turn from that lifestyle. If I don't see a genuine turn, I don't owe you. I don't need to lend you any more money or relationship, right? I don't have to have a relationship with you. And it's not being unforgiving to say, hey, look, man, I'm not holding that against you. I'm wanting you to change. And I'm choosing to separate relationship with you until you start to change. And that also, it's very difficult when you have to be very welcoming when someone does say you want to change. You have to be very encouraging to say. So there's a difficult balance to learn there. But, I think that people that don't understand that, they're like, oh, you need to forgive. And they think that forgiveness always involves just acceptance of the relationship and behavior, and it's not, right? It means I don't hold the debt against you anymore, right? But I don't need to accept your bad behavior as in being we can keep having a relationship with you living like this. Does that make sense? So but you were able to use it against your parents pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So where were we at in your age?
Around 17, I lost it. I mean, I was doing every drug I can get my hand on. If you had it, I was doing it.
Okay.
And I stole my first car. I was just spiraling out of control.
Did you get caught?
No.
No. All right. What did you do with the car?
I wrecked it.
Okay.
I flipped it 4 times, hit the top of a tree, almost died there. Walked away. We drove by it to look at the car to get my stuff out, and they had the whole block blocked off.
So the EMS came with you in the car?
No. Me, my boys pulled me out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we had to get all my stuff out of the car.
Right. So you blocked off the street so you could do that?
No. The police had it blocked off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
And how'd you get away, though?
the cop stopped, said, "Do you guys know anything?" I had blood gushing down my face. I said, "No, I just got out of the fight. We're on our way to the hospital." But God, I got away.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, that could have been some serious jail time, right? Grand Theft Auto. So, all right, so 17, things are spiraling out of control. Take us down. What happens next?
During this time, I've always been a worker, and I was doing roofing at 16, went to carpentry at 17, started HVAC at 18, but during all this time, I'm working all these hours, going out partying at night, and so I had to continue getting high to stay awake for work, and then getting high to continue partying with everyone.
I did that for a while. You could do that when you're young.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's taking a toll on me now, though.
Yeah, when you get a little older, especially if you're in your 30s, you can't do that anymore. Anyway, so you're maintaining work, but you're maintaining it because of all the drugs you're using. You're learning your balance. Like, if I had this, I can get to work, and then after work I could party and all that. So how long does that last before it comes crashing down?
Until I was 26.
Till you're 26?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing this. Was there any time where between 17 and 26, where you're working all this stuff, that you tried to get recovery, sober, or any of that?
When my daughter was born, I slowed down on everything. I was in a crack house, and I was just at my bottom, and I prayed like, "God, get me out of this." And then I found out my ex was pregnant, and so that kind of like was an answered prayer, and so I kind of slowed down in life, and then a bunch of custody problems were happening, so I was like, this can't be from God, this is terrible, and I tried to be a great father, but the drugs kept holding.
Okay. That's a big deal, man. So we're coming up on a break here, but I want to back up and kind of talk about the daughter coming into your life and how much that affected you when we came back. Were you still in Charlotte at this time?
Yes.
Okay. Charlotte, right? Yeah. Okay. So, and how old were you?
I was 20.
20. Okay, so you skipped a bunch. 17 to 26. A big thing happened. So we just went on commercial. Okay, sorry about that. We're coming right up on a commercial. We'll be back in a minute.
Spread north and east across much of the Tar Heel state by
what are you looking for, big man? I got this down. Freedom Farm Industries.
Freedom Farm Ministries, yeah.
What are we looking for? What do you need, big man?
So
Firewood?
if people want to donate firewood to us, absolutely.
What else?
We'll give you a place that can come and bring it. Any really good resellable goods can be brought to our thrift store on the
Hang on.
accusations by his defense team that the investigation was tainted by
And you-
improper police practices. He has pled not guilty.
What else, big man?
You know how to make this point. This is our challenge when it comes to that, Mike. People bring things to our thrift store, and you know how a lot of times people are like, well, it's a thrift store, they can resell it, but they bring us stuff that just really can't get resold, you know?
I know what you're
So
saying.
you got to kind of make that point generally, like, look, don't bring them stuff they're going to throw away, you know? Bring them stuff that they can resell, good resellable items, you know? That's on the 105 bypass, the Freedom Farm Ministries thrift store.
What else, big man?
You're not going to ask for donations, cash donations on the swap
No,
shop.
we can't do that. I wish
So-
we could, but I would.
I mean, those two, and you could promote the auto shop, no? Or
What, Freedom Auto Theft?
Freedom Auto Tech, you guys already have a commercial.
It's all right, we'll do it again. Who cares?
Yeah.
Dude, you're a freaking customer. You relax. And how about this? How about the call you if they need counsel?
Yeah, give us a call if you're struggling with addiction, or spiritual matters, you can give us a call. We'll do whatever we can to help you out. So,
Give me a phone number, big man.
call the office, and then they'll direct you to where you need to be. Where's the office number?
Oh,
Changed.
don't believe this.
Yeah, it just changed. That's why.
Oh. Is it online?
Yeah, it's online.
Hold on.
FreedomFarmMinistries.org.
How is Justin doing?
I talked to him the other day. Just texted with him. He said he was doing good.
How's he like his new job?
He said he likes it.
Featuring our exclusive basketball recruiting guide. You'll get it before
Is it 386-6200 or
No, that's the thrift store.
about 202-590?
That's it right there.
Okay, hang on. 828 202
5907. There's Todd right now. He just put it up on Facebook.
Got it. It's going in the swap shop folder. We'll help you all we can.
Thanks, man.
I told you, I'll run your show. Just do your thing. I'll help you as much as I can. But remember, tell Bill when you're leaving.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I will definitely do that.
No, he's not like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're taking advantage of our largeness, running the plan more efficiently, negotiating great contracts, and then when that happens,
Have we?
case, we're actually
Have they replaced Mike and Justin, or they're not going to?
people that
They're going to replace Mike.
Power has been restored to a North Carolina city that suffered a widespread outage for about 7 hours.
They're going to
after a
replace
transmission
Mike.
line was cut.
No, they're going to replace Justin.
Power Wednesday
I don't think they'll replace Mike.
No.
Man says he's raised more than $3 million
don't
to
think
pay
they
for a
will.
border wall through a GoFundMe page.
Unfortunately.
Brian Kovacs is an Iraq
Put it
war
right back
veteran and
down.
triple
Okay.
amputee and started the page because members of his family
He's good.
immigrated to the U.S. legally, and he feels others should do the same.
It's important to follow the rules because there are people who come to the U.S.
Eric, tell me about your job search. What's going on?
People just jump
What's
on
up,
borders. They
Pastor
come
Mike?
online.
Hey, Margaret, Anna.
We can't control who's coming in and out of our country.
So
We have that
you can
control.
see people that are. There's 7 people watching right now. So make sure you maybe turn a little bit when we get back on so they can see you. People want to see you.
Is furious there is no money for the wall, according to CBS's Nancy Cordes.
It's possible that they might have to get this over the finish line with more Democratic votes than Republican votes. That's something that the House Speaker, Paul Ryan, typically likes to avoid, and this is really his last major...
Oh, was it? It helped me. So,
Let's see where we're at on this, guys.
hey, Ira, good to see you, man. Hey, Lindsay.
WSOC-TV, Severe Weather Center 9.
All right, fellas.
Hey, Martinez.
Looking ahead to more rain spreading in throughout
30
30
Renee.
seconds, guys. 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
late this afternoon. Easy, quick edge or more of rain will fall across the area. So there's a flood watch in effect.
Hi, Phoebe.
Big problems, but streams and creeks, yeah, they're going to be running pretty high. Temps staying to 40s all day today and tonight, but all in rain heading into Friday as well. We'll end with some light snow Friday night.
Light snow Friday night.
I'm meteorologist Keith Monday for High Country Radio. This is
All right, here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome back to Recovery Talk. That was a little bit of a long break, huh?
Yes, sir.
But we gotta get the advertisers in and get an update on the news. Before we get back into your story, man, just want to give another shout out to Freedom Auto Tech. Freedom Auto Tech is the official show sponsor, and they're a regular garage in town. I don't want people to have the image that it's a bunch of guys in early recovery working on cars. It's not how that works. It's an actual shop with a actual mechanic, and there will be guys that are well enough that are in there helping. You worked in the shop a little bit, right? But you're under the supervision of a mechanic, right? But anyway, they're there. That shop exists in order to support men's recovery here in the High Country through Freedom Farm Ministries. So if you got something wrong with your car, might as well bring it in and know that you're going to get your car fixed and help out a ministry at the same time. Give them a call, 828-355-4434. That's 828-355-4434. So, Nick, you tried to skip from 17 to 26, and you left out probably one of the most monumental things to happen in your young adult life, which was your daughter. And we started to talk about that. 20 years old, you said that you were in a crack house, and then you found out that your ex was pregnant. And what happened, man?
Well, she wasn't really an ex. She was more of a, hey, I'm about to go to jail, so we're going to have a week-long party, and she hit me up, and we just spent the whole week together.
Uh-huh.
And right when I get out, I had 500 messages saying I'm pregnant, it's your baby, it's not your baby, it's your baby, it's not your baby.
Oh, no.
So it was...
that must have been fun.
Not at all.
You know, it's funny. I was listening to NPR on the way in this morning, and they were talking about the craze of these DNA testing things and how they're going like for Christmas. Everybody's getting them, and there's actually support groups now that have started on Facebook because while it's fun, right, and it's people are like way into it, it's actually destroying a whole bunch of families too because it's bringing skeletons out of closets that people didn't know. There was one guy giving a testimony that. He had done all this family research for himself his whole life, and then he just recently took a DNA test and found out that he didn't share the same father as his siblings, and confronted his 95-year-old mother about it, and she told him, your dad was my old boss, and his real father, the guy that had raised him, had already passed away. His mom was living in an assisted living facility, but he said it ruined their relationship for the last 5 years of their life. I was like, it's a terrible story, man. It's so terrible. And then they have a Facebook group. It's already got 3,500 members of people that have all been affected like this. So anyway, you just made me think of something I just heard. But anyway, so it is yours. It's not. It is yours. She goes to jail for how long?
No. I was going.
You were going to jail. Okay. So when you got out, baby.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I was the only one at the hospital. We didn't know if the baby was going to come out white or black, and so they had me staying outside of the hospital, the room, and me and her dad were outside getting high.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then so the first time I held my daughter, you see my pupils, they were huge, and very terrible experience, but right when I held her, I knew she was mine, and I got this glimpse of hope, and then as the walk continues, in order for my family to be a part of her life, they wanted a DNA test, which is understandable, and so I got a DNA test, and of course she's mine, and
I'm glad you just said that because I'm telling you this terrible DNA story, and I'm like going, oh crap! I hope I'm not like putting this really. Anyway, I'm glad you. Okay, so you know, so
Yes, sir.
there's not going to be no crazy. You're not going to have to join a support group.
No,
okay, okay. So your daughter is born, and it affects you greatly as children do. There's one thing that people used to tell me, adults used to tell me, like, you know, I was an old bachelor. I was 37 when I finally got married, and I'm 42 now, and I just had my second child. But you know, when you become like a little bit of an older bachelor, people tell you these things, and you get to the point where like, come on, it's just you're saying that. It's certainly, you know, I have sisters, I have nephews. People used to say, oh, kids, man, once you have a child, you know, it changes your whole life. I used to be like, come on, how big of a deal could it really be? I've been around kids. I like kids. Kids like me. It can't really change you that much. That was right. They were right. It really does change you from the inside out. Absolutely. So, obviously, you had your daughter, you have some hope, but you still struggle because you had her at 20, and you're 26 now, or 27? 26 now. You're doing well. You're doing great now, but we have a little 6-year period in there, 5.5.
This point, I became, I was fearless. Now I have this little fear in my life because I didn't want anything to happen to me because she needed her daddy, even though I couldn't really be there. Her mom kept her from me at first, and me and her had a lot of problems, and so I threw myself into work, kind of slowed down on the drugs, but I became an alcoholic. And I substituted that and still doing some on the side, but didn't consider myself this until that I was a drug addict still. And I threw myself into work and tried to become this better man, but I created this void in my life to where I was working constantly, getting drunk because I'd work out of town all the time. Then when I get to see my daughter, I was still feeling the effects of last night. And it was a toll on my body and my mind, and it still affects me to this day.
You know what, man? People want to make light of alcohol in the addiction world. You know, guys that had really bad problems with alcohol, with drugs, and they say, well, you know what, alcohol is going to be something that it's not that bad. It's the worst. Okay, if you are someone that has an addictive personality or addictive tendencies, let me tell you something. Alcohol will put a toll on you because it's a long, miserable, slow, painful. And man, let me tell you, people that want to say, oh, it's just drinking, it's the worst. I mean, that's my experience. You know, it's not about me. This show's not about me, but I was dependent on alcohol from 3 years living in Costa Rica. I had owned a bar, and I drank for another year. And when I finally went to go detox, 14 days. Took me hospitalized 14 days to get off alcohol. That was the scariest thing I ever went through in my life. So I just want to make a point that, man, alcohol is not a safe substitute if you've got a drug problem. So, disengaged from your daughter's life because of the drinking and overworking and all that stuff. So that's got to be gnawing at your brain.
Yes, sir.
So what happened?
Well, I was up to drinking a bottle a day, and then I'd be crashing, so I'd start getting back into coke, start doing coke and meth, trying to pick me back up so I can work, see my daughter. And the mixture of the three just terrible. I lost myself. I started veering away from everyone. I became this recluse who was hiding in the dark, getting messed up, toying around with people's emotions, and then using people, coming back to them when I needed them, and then walking away.
Yeah. So this is when the isolation set in.
Yes.
The isolation, the hiding, and that's when the shame is there all the time. I can just imagine, brother, and you got a daughter, and you want to be your dad, and you're stuck in a room, and that's not a good place to be. I'm so glad you're not there anymore. So, how long did that last?
About 3 years.
3 years of living like that.
Yes, sir.
Was there any, were people trying to intervene in any way? Were people trying to get your attention?
My parents have been trying to get me in a teen challenge since I was 16.
Okay.
And it finally worked when I was 25. I started back on coke real heavy and was an alcoholic, and I didn't want to go. I didn't think I needed a change. I was seeing my daughter every day. I pretty much became a better person, but I was hiding who I was. I'm like, I have no problem. I became a functioning alcoholic, coke addict.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, when I was 25, or 24, I met my ex-fiance, and she was helping me go through the motions with my daughter and trying to become a better father, and she was there for her. But she allowed me to do whatever I want, and whenever I get allowed to do whatever I want, I start spiraling again.
So you got one of those enabling, kind of codependent, turn a blind eye relationships.
Yes, sir.
Those are very, very bad for people in that kind of situation.
Yes, sir.
So how did that end up?
That ended up right before it ended. I kind of snapped. I had no clue who I was, had no clue what was going on. I had this psychotic break, and I had chronic deja vu for 3.5 months straight.
Whoa.
Yep.
That must have been bugging you out pretty bad.
It was terrible. It was terrifying. That's the first time in my life I was actually terrified to be alive.
Were you messing around with meth at this time?
I quit right before her.
During the 3 months of the deja vu? I'm going to tell you, more and more I see people coming in that have prolonged use of methamphetamine. That drug does something to people's heads that takes some time to come out of. You know, they can stop using meth, but I mean, I'm talking months before like things start to connect again. You know, I mean, I've literally had people come in and they're telling me that the CIA's after them and they haven't used meth for a month.
And
and
drones
then
are flying.
drones are flying, yeah.
Watching us.
And then 3-4 months later, they're just not like that anymore, you know. And it's just like, so I have to tell my staff constantly when we get people like that, it's like, look, just I know he looks like he needs to be in a loony bin. Just give him some time. Just clicked in again. Well, we're not. There's a commercial.
It's not playing.
Yeah, it's playing.
It's dead.
I'm listening to it.
There's nothing playing. Oh, I see.
Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, but yeah, what I was saying. What I was saying is that the effects of methamphetamine on someone's brain. I think a lot of times it was really scary looking, but if you give people some time, you're probably starting to feel cloud lifting and all that kind of stuff. Now you're a good 4 months into it. So anyway, we're coming up on a hard break, and we'll be back with Nick. So stay with us. Okay.
Yeah, watch this computer. It's jumped a couple of times. It jumped 3 spots.
This happened to Mike all the time too. So
Oh, these computers. I'll tell you what I like is you got a spot break coming up, and it just decides I ain't going to do that, and then it scrolls. And the whole day goes through, and it goes right back to 12 midnight.
yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, Bill's working on it, but there's a lot of these computers.
Just old.
And Robin, and Robin's been fighting with them. I'm telling you right now, guys, I'm amazed she ain't left with the crap they've put her through.
Really?
Yeah. They've not been good to her. Even when she's done good, it's always, well, you could do better.
Right.
Anyway, dude, you have had a crazy life.
Yeah.
It's worse. My brain's been working so fast lately because I remember everything now, and
Yeah, you were living in a cloud before.
it's great, but at the same time it's terrible because my whole life's just a jumble. I remember things, but I don't know when it happened. And
Yeah, you got to watch what the hell's going on, especially God Almighty. It's amazing you didn't die. I'm amazed you're still alive with some of the shit you've done.
Yep. Me too. So
You owned a bar?
in Costa Rica, yeah. I'm still actually officially a third owner. So
Dude, how the hell are you alive?
I should not have survived Costa Rica.
Really?
No. Okay, you know, cocaine costs about $60 a gram here, and it's stepped all over. Down in Costa Rica, $5, and it's like it's right from Colombia.
10 seconds. Holy
So,
cow, guys.
3 years of that. I don't know how I survived. So this is our last segment.
5 seconds, guys.
So we're gonna.
4,
This is it.
3, 2.
Welcome back, Recovery Talk, Hope and Help for the Hurting. A shout out, final shout out to our show sponsor, Freedom Auto Tech. Look, if you're listening, if you're in the Watauga County, even if you're in Ashe County, any of the surrounding counties, Avery County, you can come up here and get your car fixed. Everybody has car problems, but wouldn't it be nice to get your car fixed done right with warranty, and know that the profits from the job are going to support a good cause like recovery from in. So give them a call if your car is messed up. 828-355-4434. That's 828-355-4434. Freedom Auto Tech. It's a professional auto shop here in town ready to service all your car needs. So this is the final 10 minutes, my friend. So we got to bring it home. Out of your mind, deja vu for 3 months. Like my friend Ira, who I knew Ira. He came to Freedom Farm years ago. He's watching the show. I think from just down the mountain. I think maybe he's in Statesville. I don't know. You might correct me. But anyway, I don't need to blow up your location, Ira. Sorry, but he's making the point that's very true. If you stop using drugs, all the medical people, people with those letters behind their name, they say it takes like a good year before your brain is really reset from all the damage you've done. So you've got about 4 months. Can you imagine yourself in 8 more months, 4 or 5 months? You're going to be amazing. So you hang in there. So tell us kind of what broke the cycle, man, and got you to where you're like, you know what, I need help.
Well, me and her split up, and then I went back down deep into addiction, and then playing with my daughter every weekend, and only time I ever saw her was when I was recovering, when I was just coming back from the night before. And just seeing how it affected her, and her mom's in and out of prison has nothing to do with her now. And just, I knew I needed a change. But I was actually I went to Teen Challenge, tried it out, and I didn't want to change though. Like, I knew I needed to change, but I didn't want to change.
You know, I know people are watching and listening, and they're going, "Where is his daughter this flooding? With your parents?"
Yes, sir.
Okay, so safe with the parents.
Yes, sir.
That's where the daughter is. Teen Challenge, for those of you guys listening and watching, is probably the largest Christian recovery program in the world. It's an actually international program. Started by, I forgot his name. Anyway.
Well, guys like me don't really like structures like that. They were really by the book, in bed, do this, do that, telling you how to live. And most of the addicts I know, that would never work for them.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't work for me. I was only there for a day, and I just hated everything about it. And so I went there to make everyone happy, came out, acted like I was perfectly fine, working, doing good financially.
How long did you spend at Teen Challenge?
A day.
Oh, that's it?
A day.
Okay, so.
And you know us addicts, we're there, we're out, we're here for the moment. And that didn't work for me. I was like, this will never help me. I want to change, or I don't want to change. Everyone else wants me to change, so I'm going to give them what they want. I'm going to let them see that I changed. So I went back to living the double life of this persona of this guy who's doing great, and I was doing a ball of cocaine with a bunch of strippers.
Then going to church,
Yeah,
and then going to see your daughter.
Sunday.
Okay. So,
And
terrible.
terrible.
Yeah.
And through this whole thing, I thought I was doing God's will. I thought I was doing okay, because I'd get messed up and tell everyone, hey, Jesus loves you, know. People used to call me the alcoholic preacher. I go around telling everyone all this great stuff. And then I just felt this void right around this past year, and I felt like I was getting hammered. This is it. This is it. You're about to die. This is the end.
Okay.
You have no more chances.
So intense conviction that your life is coming to an end.
That is done.
Okay.
And I was sitting there, geeked out of my mind off of meth and coke at a bar, and I texted my mom, I can't do this anymore.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know if I was gonna kill myself or what I was gonna do. I was done. I couldn't take it anymore. I just felt this toll that was just devouring my inside. And so she said, okay. She brought up Teen Challenge and everything, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Uh-huh.
I need something that's gonna help me. And then I looked, and then I saw Freedom Farms. And
I got the Freedom Auto Tech in your brain. The commercials are working.
and I saw it, and I just read through it. I don't read anything, but I just read a glimpse of what it was, and I'm like, okay, this is it. And so
you read the Freedom Farm website, and you're like, I can do that.
Yeah. And so I called and said I had to detox off of alcohol, because I was drinking that. I was about a bottle and a half a day at this point. And so I sobered up for a week, and I came, and then it was like this weight was lifted. Felt like everything was right. I was where I was needed to be, and just on the first day, I had this supernatural peace. And from there, man, just the fellowship with the brothers there, the staff, you, and everyone else just showed me all the areas I was wrong. And it didn't do it in a way of judgment, and did it in a way of helping a brother out.
Yeah, you know, you came in, and this is just reality. You are one of those particularly difficult cases because you had a head full of Bible, you know, and you're like, those people sometimes can be really hard to deal with. You know what I mean? Yeah. You weren't. You were humble, my friend, and you're like, you know what? You were able to look and say, look, I have a head full of Bible, but look at my life. you know. So obviously there's a problem here, right? And I'm proud of you, man, because we got close a couple times where you almost ended your stay with us, but you pushed through, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You were looking at me a couple times like, man, I ain't gonna make it.
Yeah.
You know, but you did.
I've never graduated, never accomplished anything in my life, and just getting that certificate, just like it's a whole new meaning of life. It's just an overwhelming feeling of joy.
So we got 3 minutes, man. You've just moved into Watauga County, our third phase of the program. You're working. We have another guy that's in the third phase also, and he's an expert carpenter, and he's gotten work from cable rental companies here, and you're his helper. You're an HVAC guy, and you're kind of, I think, looking for jobs there, maybe putting yourself out. I don't know. But you're working. Talking to mom and dad, what do mom and dad think?
They're happy as can be.
Happy as can be.
Yes.
I saw you with your daughter. She was up here for the one church picnic one time, and then when was the last time she was? She was here for Thanksgiving too, right?
No. They went down to Florida.
Oh, they went down to Florida. Okay, so things are getting better there.
Yes, sir. I get to talk to my parents every day and my daughter, and she's happy as can be. She tells me all the time she's proud of me, and that helps me out a lot too, just knowing that I'm not only doing this for myself but for them. And you know, we do got to do things for a family, but at the same time, if you're not right with yourself, then you can never do anything.
Right. So, brother, you've got a good start now, and that's what it is a start. You've got some learning to do, but you know, if I can give you any advice from a guy that's, you know, a little bit older, don't get in a hurry. You're 26, but you're only 26, okay? You're only 26. I mean, if you look at the news now, I just watched a thing the other day. They said like a third of people like 35 are still living at their parents' house or something like 33. I was thinking 33. They're still living off their parents. So, I mean, don't get in a hurry. You've got a good start, my friend. Getting experience, living a different way without having to double life, without having to use drugs and alcohol, but to be genuine. And it's going to be tough. We all know it. Life is tough. Mike, is life tough? Life is tough, you know. And you can get through it, though, without using the substances and learning some healthy ways of living. So, my brother, before we get off here, 30 seconds, you got one last thing you want to say? Well, I shouldn't do that, put you on the spot. But look, I appreciate you coming in and sharing your story. And appreciate, there's a bunch of people I don't even know that are saying, you know, thanks for sharing your story. And be a mentor to the guy right behind you. Like I said that the other night. Remember that. You know, there's people out there hearing, listening, watching that are being encouraged by your story. So, Nick, thanks for coming on the show today. Mike, thanks for stepping in and running the board.
I'll be here for a while. I told you, I'll run your show. I'm ready.
All right. And for those of you watching and listening, thanks for being part of the audience today. And we will see you again right after the Christmas Day, right? So, all right. I guess we're done. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you'll be on next Thursday, the 27th. Make sure you tell Bill, and I'll tell you what, thank you for what you do.
Absolutely.
And helping guys like this, because I'll tell you what, man, I'm playing around. What this guy's saying, I saw flashbacks of guys I knew growing up. Half of them are all dead.
Yeah.
Because they took the wrong turn. And they thought they were cool and they were going to get away with stuff and this, that, and the other. And I'm telling you, man, the double crossing that went on, everything. I mean, everything.